Hello and welcome to MidnightSilverCrafters.com. My name's Steve and I'll be your host. Today in this video, we're going to talk about jewelry hammers. Okay, we're going to cover everything you need to know about hammers for making jewelry. Okay, now this video is not going to be as long as a lot of my other videos. I know some of my videos are really long, but this one's going to be a little bit shorter, but I'm going to try to cover everything you're going to need to know when it comes to getting set up and making some jewelry and what you're going to need when it comes to hammers. Alright, let me move this out of the way and we will get started. Okay, now, really, you don't really need a whole lot of hammers when you start making jewelry. I got some hammers up here. Okay, I got all my tools pretty much grouped in one, together. That's how you want to have your bench. You have your tools grouped. I got my hammers, and then all my pliers are grouped over there, and blah blah blah. Up here, I got all my, my bits and certain. And I know where everything is that way. And I can work fast and I can work efficiently. But the first hammer that I want to talk about today is I'm going to talk about a chasing hammer. All right, now chasing hammer is one of the hammers that's absolutely essential for making jewelry. All right, now this is a chasing hammer. Now a chasing hammer has this head on it right here. Okay, it's kind of a little bit, it's close to flat, but it's rounded. Okay, it's got just a little bit of a curve rounded on it, like a little dome. Not much. Okay, but what you do with a chasing hammer is, what you do whenever you're making a piece of jewelry, all right? Let me see if I can get something. Pull something out of the scrap bin to show you. But when you're making a piece of jewelry, well, let's see, I got some stuff here. Don't really matter, I guess. But what you want to do is, okay, like if say you're making I got a little piece of silver here. Alright, now say I want to make a little backing plate. I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's a little heart right there. That little heart, it's got a little piece of turquoise on it, but this is a small little thing. But now, let's say I want to make a backing plate for this little heart. Okay, now I got a piece of silver here. Oh, that's big enough. That'll work. But what you got to do, you got to have your metal flat. So you get your little block like this. All right. Now this is basically a doming block. Okay, it's got two on it. It's a small little block, but the back of this block is perfectly flat. So the first thing you do, you put your metal on here and you take this chasing hammer flatten it out. I'm gonna try to stay focused today on hammers, because if I don't, I'll be rambling off and I'll end up talking about a million other things and I won't get through the video, because I do ramble. But if I start rambling, please forgive me. But if you listen to my rambling, maybe you might learn something else too. But because my mind, a lot of times my brain will run a lot of different channels all at once. That's just the way I'm wired. I don't know why it is, but it is. But see, now that's flat. Alright, now that's a chasing hammer. Okay, now you also have this rounded rounded end is more like a ball peen hammer. Okay, now you can take these hammers but this end of the head is for flattening out flat. You put it on a flat block. So that's about as flat as you're going to get it. And then you put your piece down, you mark it out, and you cut your metal. Alright, now that's for that part. Now also, you can take and you can lightly hammer this metal and hit it like on the edge, and you can make a little texture pattern on your metal with this. And if you use this rounded ball peen part, you can also tap around and you can make different textures with the end of that hammer, with either end of it really. But now this is just a chasing hammer. I bought this at something, I think, I don't know, I think I got it at a fabric place or something. I don't know, Joann's Fabrics or something, but you know, now this hammer was about 30 bucks. Okay, they're not cheap, and this is a cheap. I mean, this is cheaply made. I'm talking, not cheap in price, because it was 30 bucks, about 28 bucks. But I want to show you what if you really want to get a nice chasing hammer. Okay, that's really nice. Now take a look at this. This is absolute quality of a hammer. Now what this is, if you look on there, this sticker, okay, this says Napa, okay, Napa Auto Parts. Okay, this actually is a body hammer. Okay, what they use when they do body work. But I know a little bit about body work too, because I've done some. And what you do is when you're pounding out fenders and stuff, you got to get the metal back down flat. Okay, well, this head, look at the head on that. Okay, now I'm going to show you a big difference in these two hammers. Okay, see this? If you can see them both there, that little cheap thin-ass plastic handle on this thing is pretty much junk. As far as it's already came loose on me. All right, 28 bucks for this piece of crap. And look at the head. Okay, now there's a huge difference, but what I want to show you, the difference on this head and this head. You see this head, it's all marred up already. And this is not even that old of a hammer, but this is a cheap ass soft metal, and this head will mar up on you. Okay, if you do any amount of work. Now when it mars up and it gets all pitted up and marred up like that, you gotta stop and you gotta go and you gotta take that back down. Okay, and you got to work that metal back down to a polish, to a mirror shine, like a polish, like you're polishing a piece of silver, because you want a polished surface on your metal when you're flattening it, or you're going to mark it up, because whatever marks are on the end of your hammer is going to transfer onto your metal. But you see, this head is way different. This is a solid, good, heavy steel hammer. And I've used this one a lot more than this one, and look at the head. It's still polished almost like a mirror. It's not marring up, and it's not scratching up. And look at the handle. It's solid hickory. It's bigger. It's better. And look. Look at that. Look. Now, compare these two hammers, and actually, believe it or not, they're the same price, because this hammer right here was about 30 bucks from Napa. But get you one of these. Don't buy a piece of crap like this. You can if you want to. But this little piece of crap compared to this is this is garbage compared to this. Because I'm not going to be spending any time polishing this and taking this metal back down and all that and getting a smooth surface, because it don't get marred up. It's hard metal. metal. This is crap metal. All right, enough about that. That's a chasing hammer, and that's basically, you can use it like that. Okay, now you're gonna have to have a chasing hammer to do jewelry. A chasing hammer is a must-have. I'd go with this one, like I said. All right, moving on. Next, you're gonna need another absolute essential hammer is this. All right, this is, you can see how old this mallet, I've had this for years and years. It's a quality hammer. It'll probably outlast anything I got. The old-timey stuff is the best if you can find it. But this is a rawhide mallet. All it is a piece of rawhide, okay, and it's rolled up. Now these rawhide hammers ain't cheap, okay? These things can be 40 or 50 bucks for a little bitty rawhide hammer. All right, but now I'm gonna show you what you can do, okay? If you don't wanna spend 50 bucks on a rawhide hammer, there's something that you can do. Now this, I'll show you what you, this is a big chunk of rawhide. It's a dog bone, okay? You go to Walmart, you get a dog bone, a big rawhide dog bone that you give to your dog, and you put it in water and you soak it overnight, and you're gonna have massive amounts of rawhide. I think they put a half a cow into one of those dog bones, maybe a whole friggin' cow. It's an unbelievable amount of rawhide, but you roll that up tight, put some rubber bands around it, let it dry out a couple weeks or a week, just let it dry till it's hard, and then you just cut it, right? You can see how you wanna cut it. Roll it up tight and cut it the size you want for a mallet. All right, and then you just go ahead and you drill you a good hole right here. Get you some Elmer's wood glue or some good wood glue or Gorilla Glue. Take you you can even use a big dowel for a handle. You don't need nothing fancy. But just put your handle through that hole, drill a hole, put your handle through there, and you've got a mallet that you just made yourself a mallet for about 5 bucks. Okay, now you don't have to spend 50 bucks. I've got a bunch of homemade mallets running around this place. I'll show you a beauty right here. Now this is a mallet. If you can see that, okay. I'll see if I can give you a little bit of a better shot. This is a beautiful mallet. I made this mallet, but you see that? That's a double-headed mallet, okay? That's something I was working on. I made a real fancy mallet. I put my logo up under here, and it's all fancy made and everything, but I just did that messing around one time. But that's a double-headed mallet. Okay, in other words, there's rawhide on both ends of it. Okay, and it looks like this. Here's another one I made. But you see that's got rawhide on each end of that is rawhide. Okay, if you can see that. All right, see it's rawhide surface, okay, and then inside of here, inside of the middle of the mallet, this is all weighted. And now this is my favorite mallet because it's weighted with all this is full of washers for weight, and that metal gives it a nice heavy weight. And this is real easy, you know, hammering down ring shanks and stuff because it's way heavier of a hammer than this light one. This light one's good too, just plain rawhide is good. But this is my favorite hammer. But anyhow, I think I'm about to start rambling. But you need some rawhide mallets because when you're working down a ring shank or your silver and you're pounding it out, you don't really use this for flattening it out. I mean, you could, that's all you got, but you want to flatten it with a chasing hammer. But these rawhide mallets are good for making rings and stuff like that. But it's essential for making rings because you don't want to mar up your metal All right, you don't want to start wailing on your metal with the wrong kind of hammer. Okay, you know. All right, now you gotta have a rawhide mallet. You don't have to have a good fancy one like this. This is one I made and it's good. I like it. It's my favorite. But you don't need that. Okay, you need a rawhide mallet. Now you also gotta have that chasing hammer. Okay, and then now you can go to Harbor Freight and you can get these little mallets. Okay, right here. There's two little mallets. Okay. Right there's two little mallets. They come from Harbor Freight, and these are real light duty. All right, this is plastic tipped. Okay, and, you know, and it's got a rubber tip. Okay, now these come with these little heads right here. See, they screw in there, and they come with all different little heads that screw on, and they're real, you know, they're cheap, but they do work good. And I mean, I use these a lot. Okay, now here's another one. It's got your ball peen end, like for making a little texture, and then it's got, you know, it's got this brass end. Okay, see. All right, now this is not a chasing hammer, but you know, a lot of times, you know, depending on what you're doing, you want to get, you know, the hammer that's the right size for what you're doing. You know, like maybe you're setting a bezel, you know, maybe you're setting a stone around the bezel or something like that. And you know, and you take a punch. I make my punches out of a screwdriver, but you just take that punch and you take this light little hammer, real light, for setting stones. Perfect. That's beautiful. So this hammer, for a cheap ass little hammer, you do a lot with these. Either one of these, you can do a lot with them, and they're like $5. They're less than $5. Probably $5, but Harbor Freight. Okay, but now these little hammers, you get a couple of them from Harbor Freight because those are they're really good. They're really handy. All right, now, you know, you're gonna need it now. If you start working some metal, okay, like say you're making yourself some ingots. All right there's my ingot mold. But let's say I pour a couple ingots out of here, my ingot mold, and there's two ways that you can take an ingot and make it into useful material. Number one is you can take it and you can put it on a rolling mill and you can roll it down, okay? And then, see, this ingot mold like this will make sheet, because I got a flat ingot here. I can pour a big wide flat ingot, or I can pour wire. I got 4 sizes of wire. I can pour wire right on here and take that wire and roll it out, you know, and I end up with this. See, there's some wire. That's some D-section wire right there that I've rolled out on my rolling mill. Now I'll just take this little hammer right here, this light little rawhide mallet, and I'll stick that wire around my ring shank, and in about 10 seconds I'm going to make me a ring. Pound that around. I anneal the wire real good first, and so it's real easy. I can almost do it without a hammer, but you always want to work hard in your metal. When you're working with silver, you gotta have it work hardened, and when you hammer it down, that work hardens the metal, because with silver it's gonna shine when you go to buff it. Okay, hard work hardened metal is gonna shine way more than dead soft metal. You don't ever want to have your jewelry dead soft when it's finished. You want it work hard. There's different ways to work harden a piece of jewelry, but I don't want to get way off track. But alright, so now I'm gonna go over back to what I was saying about this ingot mold. So if I make some ingots, Now, there's two ways I can make my metal. I can roll it out like I just showed you on a rolling mill and make me some wire and some sheet, or I can put that ingot down on my rolling mill. I mean, not on my rolling mill, but on my anvil. And I can take a big ass hammer like this. Alright, now that's a hammer, okay? That's a big ass, heavy ass hammer, okay? And I can pound that metal with this big ass hammer, and I can pound it out into sheet metal. I can just pound it down. If I keep it annealed, it'll be real soft, and I can work it right into a piece of sheet metal. A big ingot right off of here, I can work it right down to any thickness I want, and I start pounding it with this. Okay, this is my heaviest big hammer right here, just a good heavy sledgehammer, and I pound that down, and then I work it down like that, and I keep annealing it, and then I just take a regular old claw hammer like this, plain old claw hammer. Alright, and I take that claw hammer, and then I continue on with pounding it down flat on that anvil, and I got me some sheet metal. And actually, pounding out metal with a hammer to me is almost easier than rolling it out with a rolling mill. Either way, you have to constantly anneal your metal. Now, if you don't know anything about annealing, watch my annealing video, because I got a video coming out real soon on annealing. Okay, and watch that video, because annealing metal is something you must know about if you're going to make some jewelry. Alright, it's just like soldering. Watch my soldering video too, because you've got to know how to solder if you're going to make jewelry. Alright, but today's video is just basically covering the hammers. Okay, now those are the basic hammers that I've covered. Now there are other types of metalworking hammers, but you know, I don't think I need to go way deep into all that, because today I'm just trying to show you the basics, okay? But now those are the hammers so the essential hammers are chasing hammer. I would get this one first over anything. Look at the handle. This hammer will last a lifetime. It's polished, and it's going to stay polished. I use this a lot, and look at it. It's a mirror, still got a mirror finish. Okay, and that finish is good what I'm going to have on my metal. Even when I pound metal out into sheet metal, when I take a big ingot and I pound it down into a piece of sheet metal, I still finish it off with this, because it's smooth and flat on the top, and my metal, it's going to leave my metal flat. It's not going to put big thick. Alright, well, I think I might just wrap it up here on this one, but I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you stopping by. Now, if you're new to the channel, I would just really love to have you as a subscriber. What this channel is about, I mostly do casting and jewelry casting. That's the main thing I do, is casting. But I do a lot of jewelry. I make a lot of jewelry in general, okay? Because it's all related, it's all jewelry. But I cut a lot of stones. You see that right there is a big chunk of citrine, and sitting right next to it is a big fat ruby. Okay, and I cut stones, and I do all that. I was working on this pendant. These are both turquoise. Okay, this is something that I'm working on right here. If you can see that, that's a nice piece of turquoise right there. Okay, I'm trying to give you a little bit of a better shot of it here if I can. You know, I'm not great with a camera, so I do apologize. But I cut the stones, and I make tabs, and I do everything related to jewelry. But I really would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. Okay, because it really would help me out a whole bunch. And yeah, so thanks for stopping by. Now, if you want to leave me some feedback, that would be good, okay? You know, if there's something you like, you can tell me. I know I suck with a camera and I'm sorry. I'm learning though, I'm getting better. And, you know, if there's something you like or you don't like, or if there's anything you want to know when it comes to making jewelry, just leave me a comment and put some comments there, and I'll answer all the comments. I look at every comment, and I'll be glad if I can help you out with anything at all related to jewelry. I've been making jewelry many years, and obviously a lot longer than I have been working with a camera, but that's beside the point. But yeah, I do this for a living. I make jewelry. I do jewelry casting, and I make jewelry for a living. I do it all day, every day. I work out in my garage. I just got a little, garage stop, set up out here. But if you want to learn casting, watch all my videos, and you can learn how. My basic thing that I teach here on this channel is casting and doing everything on the cheap, because that's what I do. I do everything on the cheap. I don't buy expensive stuff. I make most everything myself. I make my own equipment, and everything else. So I do everything on the cheap. So if you want to learn, just go ahead and subscribe, and it'd be great. I'd love to have you. And like I said, leave me a comment. So, all right, I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wrap this little video up on the hammers. So, my name's Steve, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'm glad you made it all the way to the end. I got a little surprise. Here's a little clip off of my furnace video, shot of me pouring a mold. So, I hope you enjoy this. Got my mold down, got the vacuum on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can get it poured. But you can see that it is hot. So when you're dealing with something that hot, be careful. Gotta go careful with this stuff. Alright. Now we're just gonna take it and dump it in. And there we go. We are in. Crucible back in. And we just made about 10 parts. Jewelry I've made over time. Hope you enjoy.